What are probably the two most famous or well-known desserts that come out of Italy? Yeah, tiramisu is one, and the other one, yeah, cannoli. Not talking cannelloni, that's the stuffed pasta, which is also very good. But we're talking cannoli, one of my absolute favorites, and a very simple, actually, dessert to make if you know a couple of secrets and things to watch out for, which is what we're gonna do on Damn That's Good. So, let's make some cannoli. Mangia. Today we're going to be making a dessert that is near and dear to my heart because it's one of my favorites and it's also one of my mom's favorites. And that is cannoli. Why don't we get started? Some all-purpose flour. Go ahead and download the recipe and follow along if you'd like. 2 cups of, is it 2 cups? Yeah, 2 cups of flour. I'm going to use a teaspoon of diamond kosher salt, 2 tablespoons of granulated sugar. I think a little bit of cinnamon is actually a nice complement to the filling. The flavor comes from the sweet marsala. Yeah, this is a dough that uses wine. Big difference. That's where the flavor comes from. I'm just going to mix the dry ingredients together. And I have about 3 tablespoons of shortening. Then we have the liquid ingredients, if you will. 1 egg, and I'm using an extra large. Now I'm beating it just a little bit, just, so it blends together, because I don't want to put it in there whole and then it doesn't blend right. And what I like to do is combine the wet as well. So I have the 1 egg, I have a 1/4 cup of marsala. It always smells so good. And that's the same wine you put in Zabaione, right? And I have 1 tablespoon of white wine vinegar. It helps with the crispness of the dough. And then you just let her whirl. So when I take it out, okay, sometimes it'll coalesce into a ball and it'll ride the blade. Other times it'll do this type of thing. And either one is fine. What you're looking for is a dough that's nice and soft and not sticky. And now what you need to do is bring it together. You want to knead it this feels exactly like pasta dough, really, until it's smooth. You'll see how the texture here, it's kind of gnarly, almost looks like wood, right? It's kind of strange. The more I knead that, the more that will go away, okay? And it'll become smoother and much more pliable because you're working all the ingredients in together as much as possible. And then very important, just like most doughs, right? Or all doughs, really, and pasta dough, you have to let it rest. So I'm gonna knead this for about 5 minutes, and then once it's done, put it in some plastic. You don't want any air getting to it because that'll dry it out, right? Obviously it wouldn't look like that, it would look nice and smooth. And then put it in the fridge if you're not gonna use it until like later in the day, or if you want, because you're just gonna keep going, you can put this at room temperature, leave it there for like a half an hour to an hour, and then come back to it and then start rolling it out. So I've already got some prepared because when I make cannoli, I make a lot of cannoli. So let's roll these cannoli out and get frying. Here's the dough. It's been in the fridge for about an hour. Looks pretty much the same. The color is a little different from, say, pasta dough, right? But it feels pretty much like a nice pasta dough. What we're gonna do is work with this in batches, because it's just too much to work with at once, because we're gonna roll it really thin, right? So we're gonna get quite a bit of shells out of here. So I think I'm gonna cut it in fourths, right? Quarters. and we'll work with that. Okay, once you do that, you need to definitely keep the rest of it wrapped up because air is bad. And I can really pretty much just kind of form it into a rough rectangle. Here is a hand crank pasta machine. Put a little bit of flour on there. See how I'm just like patting my hand into the flour and then patting that on the dough. I'm not putting a ton of flour on it. Some of these you start on the lowest and some of these you start on the highest. This one you start on the lowest typically because that's the thickest, right? And then you work your way down or up and you get it to a thickness that's somewhere between a 1/16 and an 1/8 of an inch thick. Better to err on the thinner side than the thicker side, I feel. They will be more delicate to work with, obviously, right? But the result is worth it. So now I just keep increasing the numbers here and keep rolling it through the machine. And I'm paying attention to whether or not it's sticking, right? If it's starting to stick, then I'm gonna add a little bit more flour. If it's not, there's really no need to add flour. So only add the flour when you need it. So this one is on 6 on mine. And as you can see, it looks exactly like pasta dough, because in essence, that's what it is really. I'm gonna put just a little bit of flour on the top. And I would say this is, yeah, pretty much between a 1/16 and an 1/8 of an inch thick. You can actually sort of see your hand. I don't know if you can tell that or not. Can you see my hand behind there? All the old Italian women, they say, you have to see your hand through the pasta. If you don't see your hand, it's no good. You have to keep going. You don't need extra dough on the sides, because right, if you're flipping it, right, if you have a larger circle, you're just gonna get more overlap. That's all you're gonna get. So what you really want is to extend that circle or that disc so that way you get a longer cannolo as opposed to just one that has a lot more dough on one side. So it's the same type of idea here. So roll up one side, put some water in there. And then as you roll it, kind of press a little bit to seal it. Don't press too hard, otherwise you'll make the dough too thin on this side, right? So I got a pot here on the stove that's filled with about 2.5 quarts of neutral oil. That can be, peanut, or it can be grapeseed, it can be vegetable. And what I've done, just to show you, I have these here, right, that I've pre-cut. That way I have a little assembly line going, right? I don't have to stop and roll and everything. You want to do all that first. And I put it on lightly floured parchment and then put a towel on top so that way they don't dry out. So I'm going to put in one at a time. So when you see them, they start to bubble and blister, it's called, right? I'm going to take them out like that. You can see here, it's stuck when I was taking this one off, and that's hot. I want to show you, see inside here, it's still raw. It hasn't cooked. And that was because the oil is a little bit on the hot side, so it didn't have enough time to cook all the way. So because it's underdone, it ended up sticking to the tube. If they tend to cook too hot, they'll stick because they don't have a chance to cook through all the way, like I say. Okay, so that's right at 360. The oil I had that at was at 380. So you can see that there's a big difference, okay? So this is actually ideal. So let's put those in there. So now that we have the first round completed, once those are cool enough, then I remove the tubes and I wrap them with the reserved dough and I fry the next batch. Time to make the filling. I have in front of me 2 pounds, yes, 2 pounds of a really good whole milk ricotta. So I have 2 pounds that I have put into a fine mesh sieve, and I've left this overnight. You can leave it for the whole day, you can leave it overnight. And the reason I'm doing that is we don't want any of that whey. See that whey in there? That's basically water. That's gonna water this down and make it runny. So I'm just gonna pour that out. I have here half the amount of the ricotta. I've got about a pound of mascarpone. Now, this is not totally traditional. That said, I know that if I'm making this for people who've really either never had them or have complained about cannoli in general, I will use mascarpone. Reason being, this will lighten it up. Because a lot of people have a complaint of, oh, I don't know, it's kind of too thick and gooey or creamy. I don't know, it's just not light enough. You know, you hear that, it's just not light enough. And so the mascarpone, even though this has like 10 times more fat than the ricotta, believe it or not, makes it lighter. Sugar, and most recipes will call for powdered. We all know how I feel about powdered sugar. Therefore, I'm using granulated. Vanilla, because you got to have vanilla. And I'm going to add 2 teaspoons. You can add less. I like more. I really like, and a lot of people I have found really like, some citrus in there. And you can do just orange, you can do just lemon, but I kind of like the combination of orange and lemon. So I'm going to put a tablespoon of orange zest and then lemon. And I'm not going to be using the juice, just want the zest. You can make this the day before and not have to worry about it. So I'm going to be using a paddle attachment, not the whisk attachment. There. Now, look at this texture. Look at how creamy that is. That is the, there's not a lot of sugar in here because you don't want something that's really sweet. You just want something that's lightly sweet. Remember, the shells have a little bit of sugar and they have a sweet wine, but they're not, I wouldn't call them really sweet. But this dessert is not meant to be like cloying in any way. So if you have a cannoli somewhere that's cloying, drop it. I like to use the tiny, tiny little itsy bitsy mini chocolate chips. And I've got a cup in here, but I'm going to use half first. I'm going to use half a cup. I don't like tons and tons because we want some for garnish. Okay? Okay, and that basically looks like chocolate chip, right? I actually like to also put some roasted pistachios in here. The traditional way, right, or of chopping up nuts is put them on a board and use your knife. Nothing wrong with it, but I'll show you why I like this. And again, I'm not a huge kitchen gadget person, but there are some gadgets I think are very practical and expedite whatever you're doing. So you put some of the nuts in here, maybe half full or whatever, okay? Put the lid on, and then crank it. And you see how fast that goes? I mean, it goes really fast. Typically, right, when you chop nuts, even if you just do it with a knife, right? I hope you can see this, because it's kind of, you get, I don't know if you can see in here, you can get a lot of like powder, right? Like nut flour, like a coarse meal, like a nut meal. See all that in here? So what I do is I'll take a sieve, not a fine one. This one has holes that are about 1/16 of an inch wide or so. And I will put the nuts in there and then treat it almost like flour, like you're sifting flour or powdered sugar. And then here, what you get is all this nut dust, which you could use actually in garnishing, right? The cannoli, if you wanted to do that. But now, see, you're left with coarsely ground pistachio. That's just, I don't know, it just looks better. It's nice and cleaner. It's got a nicer appearance. Here's the moment. We've got everything in front of us, all components ready. We have our shells, we have our filling, and we have our garnish. This is the part that goes really fast. It's very easy, obviously, because all you're gonna do is fill it, garnish it, and serve it. So remember, don't fill till you're ready to serve. Very important. I'm telling you, there's nothing worse than a soggy cannoli. Okay, I have about a 1/2 inch plain tip, and what I'm looking for is a tip that's basically the same diameter as the interior of the cannoli. Just makes it easier. So the best way and fastest way to do it, you can do this with a spoon, you can do it with a knife, but this is probably the best, is stick it in one side, pipe till it starts to come out, and then turn it around and get the other side. This is just a great filling. See, it's not runny. I can hold it, it's not running. When I'm piping it, it's like the perfect consistency. Really light, creamy. Now, tell me that's not festive. This makes an amazing dessert any time of the year. Anytime I make these, it just brings back tons and tons of memories. So start those memories with your kids. Start making cannoli in your kitchen and see which part of the process your kids end up liking best. And at the end of the day, they're gonna like everything about it. Anyway, you gotta make this. It's a great recipe. It's fun for the whole family. So please like me, I like you, and subscribe and send in your comments and post some comments. And after you make it, I'd love to hear what you have to say.